The Cold War was more than just a rivalry between two superpowers. It was a silent battlefield filled with espionage, deception, and high-stakes military operations. While many know about the Cuban Missile Crisis and the space race, there were countless covert missions hidden from the public eye. Today, we'll uncover 10 Cold War military operations you've never heard of. Buckle up, because some of these are truly mind-blowing. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union relied on underwater communication cables to transmit highly classified messages between its naval bases. The U.S. Navy, in a daring mission called Operation Ivy Bells, deployed submarines like the USS Halibut and later the USS Parche to plant wiretaps on these cables deep in the Sea of Okhotsk, right in Soviet-controlled waters. These taps recorded conversations between Soviet military officials, providing the U.S. with a goldmine of intelligence on enemy submarine movements and nuclear strategy. But the operation came to a shocking end when former NSA employee Ronald Pelton sold the secret to the KGB for just $35,000. The Soviets quickly discovered and removed the wiretaps, dealing a major blow to American intelligence efforts. Sometimes intelligence gathering can be as simple as picking up trash, literally. In Operation Tamarisk, British and American intelligence officers scoured Soviet military camps for discarded paperwork. But here's the bizarre part. Many of these documents had already been used as toilet paper. Despite the unsanitary conditions, spies painstakingly pieced together the stained documents, revealing Soviet military strategies, troop movements, and even classified codes. It was an unconventional but highly effective method of intelligence gathering that continued for decades. In 1968, a Soviet submarine, K-129, mysteriously sank in the Pacific Ocean while carrying nuclear warheads. The U.S. saw an opportunity and launched Project Azorian, an audacious mission to retrieve the wreckage using a top-secret deep-sea vessel called the Hughes Glomar Explorer. Under the guise of a mining operation funded by billionaire Howard Hughes, the CIA spent 6 years and over $350 million designing a massive mechanical claw to lift the submarine from the ocean floor. Unfortunately, during the retrieval, the sub broke apart, and only a portion of it was recovered. Still, it remains one of the most ambitious and expensive intelligence operations of the Cold War. The CIA's obsession with assassinating Fidel Castro led to Operation Mongoose, a series of outlandish plots to remove the Cuban leader. These plans included poisoning his cigars, slipping explosives into seashells near his favorite diving spots, and even lacing his boots with a chemical to make his beard fall out, believing it would make him lose credibility among Cubans. But despite their creativity, none of these bizarre plots worked, and Castro outlived many of the United States presidents who tried to kill him. During the Cold War, United States military strategists feared that the Soviet Union could launch an invasion of Alaska, given its proximity to Russian territory. In response, the Air Force secretly trained Alaskan civilians in guerrilla warfare under Operation Washtub. These everyday citizens, fishermen, hunters, and shopkeepers, were given weapons and communication tools, ready to form a resistance movement in case of an occupation. While the invasion never happened, these sleeper agents remained prepared for decades. Long before the Iranian Revolution, the United States and Iran were close allies. The CIA used this relationship to launch Operation Dark Gene, where Iranian pilots, flying American reconnaissance planes, deliberately provoked Soviet air defenses. By intentionally flying close to Soviet airspace, they forced the USSR to activate its radars and scramble jets, allowing the United States to gather critical intelligence on their air defense systems. It was a dangerous game, and many missions narrowly avoided disaster. The world's first full-scale hydrogen bomb test, Operation Ivy Mike, was so powerful that it completely erased Alujilab Island in the Pacific. With an explosive yield of 10.4 megatons, 500 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb, the blast created a massive mushroom cloud reaching 20 miles into the sky. This test marked the beginning of the thermonuclear era, escalating the arms race between the U. In one of the strangest military confrontations of the Cold War, Operation Paul Bunyan was launched after North Korean soldiers murdered 2 U.S. officers over a simple tree-cutting dispute. Instead of retaliating with direct violence, the US staged an overwhelming show of force. Hundreds of soldiers, helicopters, B-52 bombers, and warships were deployed just to cut down a single tree near the Korean DMZ. The CIA and MI6 spent months digging a 1,500-foot tunnel under Soviet-controlled East Berlin to tap into Russian communication lines. However, unknown to them, double agent George Blake had already revealed the plan to the KGB. The Soviets allowed the tunnel to operate for months before dramatically discovering it in 1956, using the incident as propaganda against the West. To maintain a constant state of nuclear readiness, Operation Chrome Dome kept US bombers carrying live nuclear weapons in the air 24/7. But after multiple near disasters, including a crash in Spain that nearly detonated 2 hydrogen bombs, the program was shut down. History is full of secrets. Which of these shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more hidden history.